Hi, so I want to make a little recording today because this week, very prominent in the news is the death of David Bowie and also Alan Rickman. And I appreciate there are other people that have passed away, but they've been big news, and in particular David Bowie. And the reason I want to make this blog, and I'm going to make some follow-up blogs, is there's a lot of comments coming out about cancer. So I think it's now recognised that David Bowie died of liver cancer, and although in particular in the other case we're talking about a secret battle, so Alan Rickman wasn't very prominent about his battle, he kept it quiet, but there is talk about a battle with, I think it's pancreatic cancer. Now, the point I want to make is that under no circumstances were these people victims of cancer, because the fact that they didn't understand what was going on doesn't make them a victim. The fact that they didn't understand what their body was doing meant that they weren't able to do anything about it. So people are pouring money into cancer campaigns, and that money isn't going to really figuring out what's going on. It's going into treatments, which is all about managing symptoms, and there's a lot of hate and a lot of anger, and we're seeing these postings on Facebook and that about this fuck you cancer and all this, and the whole campaign from cancer research is about cancer, you idiot, and you know. It's all about fear, it's all about anger, it's all about being a victim to cancer and creating hate and creating that fear in our body. Now, there is no way on earth that you can heal when you are creating that chemical environment in your body. And I don't actually know whether Alan Rickman or David Bowie ever used that expression towards cancer. Those pictures have been taken from other things they did and put together into a poster that is been created by other people, kind of trying to cope, I suppose, with their passing. Now, the point I want to make is that what if they did know? What if they knew what caused their illness so that they could focus on the cause and not focus on the symptoms? Yes, if you have symptoms, symptom management is really important. And certainly if you only discover something at a certain stage, or you're getting really severe pain and severe symptoms, then obviously I'm not under any circumstances saying don't manage your symptoms. But the analogy I often use with clients is, managing symptoms is like coming into the bathroom and finding that the sink's overflowing and everything's going haywire and it's all flooded. So you're getting towels to mop up the water, and you're kind of getting buckets, and you're trying to stop, catch the water as it's overflowing the sink. Now that's symptom management, whereas nobody's figuring out why is the sink overflowing in the first place and what is causing the tap to be on. We need to focus on why is the tap on. So there are very, very specific causes to both of these types of cancer, as in any other cancer or illness or symptom. And isn't it a shame that effort isn't going more into looking at the cause and looking at what is triggering the body and triggering those specific cells, that cell structure? So these are two different people with two different sets of symptoms, and they got labelled as cancer. They died of cancer, okay? So cancer is an increase of cells, sometimes very, very aggressive, which has a very detrimental effect on our health, okay? But if we understand why the body's doing it, we can actually stop it creating those cells, because we can tell it doesn't need to do it anymore. So the body's trying to make an adaptation. It's trying to do something that is trying to help in a situation, but that situation actually may not be really happening. It can be more that we have a fear of it going to happen, or more that it happened in the past and we're trying to compensate for a situation. So both of these people may have had original traumas, original specific events in their life that triggered their body into doing a specific program, running a program specifically in that organ. And this is why we get people who, why does one person get liver cancer and one person get pancreatic cancer, or another person get a different symptom? This is what we need to understand better. Why is it that different people are affected by different things? Now, I was recently reading my copy of What Doctors Don't Tell You. And, it goes part way into looking at other things. And they focus a lot on toxins and environmental things and diet and all of the things that affect our threshold. If we're in a difficult chemical environment, or we're in an environment that is suppressing my ability to be healthy. If we are not eating a healthy diet or not looking after ourselves, then we're definitely affecting our threshold. But they still don't seem to get the concept of why one person may be affected more than another person. So they talk about, somebody who's particularly sensitive to this. Why is that person sensitive? What if you put two people in the same situation? Why is one more sensitive than another? Why does one have an issue with, electromagnetic fields? Why does one person develop a certain symptom and not another person? So fundamentally, we need to look at what is going on in our own immune system, our own health system, that is giving signals to my body and telling it what to do. So I would like to do a couple of follow-up webinars to this, to talk in particular about pancreatic cancer and liver cancer. And there are a few other illnesses that I'd like to talk about too. So I'm going to start a series of specifically focusing, it's always the core same message, because we have to come back to body intelligence. But when we start to take body intelligence and the two phases of disease, and how we have a stress phase and a regeneration phase, that framework then lends itself for us to be able to work out what is going on in any illness. So I'm going to specifically focus on a series of key symptoms and illnesses, and target and hopefully create some discussion about some of the main illnesses that are affecting us today. So, seen as they've been in the news, I think it's a good idea to talk about, in particular, liver cancer and pancreatic cancer. Just imagine if both of these people understood what it was going on in their life that was causing their symptoms, and that they could focus on that rather than feeling helpless and a victim of cancer. Just imagine if the adverts on television, instead of talking about getting angry with cancer, which stops us healing, okay, we don't create the right chemical environment in our body if we create those chemical emotions. Imagine if it talked about understanding why our body is perhaps doing something that it is being triggered to do that it doesn't need to do now, and we can actually target what is triggering the body to do that, instead of hating cancer and therefore actually hating my own body, because it's my body that's doing that. So let's stop being a victim. It doesn't help us to be a victim. Being a victim is actually more damaging to our health than the original illness and the symptoms that we have. So the more we can understand what's going on, the more we can have an awareness about what is happening in our body and about why our body's doing these things, the more likely we are to be able to prevent them. And let's face it, that is what we really want. If there's any sign of me going into thoughts, behaviors, triggers that might create certain cellular adaptations, it's much better that I work on those things than actually wait till I'm further down the line and I have those adaptations. Okay, it's much harder to fix those symptoms when my body has started to respond than if I can actually keep mentally and emotionally and then obviously physically healthy as a result. So I hope you will join me in, maybe you want to pick the ones that are most relevant to you, or maybe you want to come along and see what I've got to say and what the causes are behind the whole series of different illnesses and diseases. But I think it's time now. We are, this is the beginning of a new year, and it's time to start taking ownership over what we're doing, what we do to ourselves, and maybe to start moving away from the victim position we're kept in by big corporations. That basically, if I'm a victim, I'm going to buy something from someone else to help fix me. Okay, that isn't the way it works. That's not the way we get healthy. We get healthy by becoming the master of our own health and becoming empowered in our own health. And yes, we can use drugs to manage our symptoms while we do that, but we don't want to be lifelong customers of Big Pharma. We want to get healthy. So I hope you'll join me. It's going to be an ongoing rolling program, so I look forward to sharing with you and getting your feedback. Here's to your health.